A very good morning, dear student. I'm Akansha Tyagi, working as assistant professor and academic counselor with IGNIU, and I'll be taking you subject called Human Resource Development. The subject code for it is MMPH002. So first, let's talk about the syllabus. The syllabus is divided into 12 units. The initial 3 units talk about the introduction to HRD. In unit number 1, we'll be covering human resource development and overview. In unit number 2, we will be covering HRD system. In unit number 3, we'll be covering HRD process. Now, the next 3 units will be covering your managing human resource development for employees. Unit number 5 will include role of HR manager. In 6, we'll be covering competency mapping. 7, we'll be talking about analysis of performance and career planning. The next 3 units will be covering HRD in practice. Unit 8 will be covering HRD culture and climate. In 9, we'll be talking about counseling, coaching, and mentoring. In unit number 10, we'll be talking about HRD and industrial relations. The next 2 units will be covering experiences and friends in HRD. Dear students, the curriculum will be divided into 6 lectures. In today's class, we'll be talking about unit number 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, which includes your human resource development and overview, the HRD system, and HRD process. So let's begin with the learning. Fine. If we talk about human resource development, I would like to cite the quote by Henry Ford, the American industrialist and the founder of Ford Motors. He once said that take out my building, take out my machine and all the capital, but leave me with my people and we become Henry Ford again. So in short, the Ford has shown the confidence in the people and their capabilities. So I would like to say that all the organizations are alike, but what differentiates one organization with other is its people. Now let's talk about the concept, how it has evolved. It was introduced by Leonard Nadler during a conference which was organized by American Society for Training and Development in United States of America in the year 1969. He defined HRD as a series of organized activities conducted within a specialized time and designed to produce a behavioral change. Look, the focus of human resource development is developing the capabilities of the people. It is a people-centric function which includes various activities like organizational development, potential appraisal, performance appraisal, training and development, so on and so forth. They are time-bound activities, and the objective of them is to enhance the knowledge, skill, ability of the people so that the attitude is changed, and all this can lead into behavioral changes, which ultimately increases the efficiency of the organization. So this was about the Leonard Nadler's definition of HRD. Now let's talk about another definition which was given by Professor T.V. Rao, one of the pioneers in India in the area of human resource development. Sir was associated with IIM Ahmedabad. According to him, HRD is a process by which employees of an organization are helped in a continuous and a planned way to acquire or sharpen the capabilities which are essential for performing their present organizational tasks and future roles too. Not only this, the HRD focuses to develop their general capabilities as an individual. The students, we as an individual are born with immense potential, but at times either we are not able to use it. So the concept of HRD is to help you people to develop your innate capabilities and use it in the organizational setting. And all this will lead to the development of the organization. If the people of an organization are competent, capable, and committed, the organization can achieve any height. So this was a summary of the definition given by Professor T.V. Rao. Fine. Now let's talk about, is there any relationship between HRD and HRM? Or these two are different. So to explain this, I will again take the help of the equation of HRM, which is given by Professor T.V. Rao. According to him, HRM is composed of HRA plus HRD plus IR and ER. Here, HRA stands for Human Resource Administration, HRD stands for Human Resource Development, IR stands for Industrial Relationship, and ER stands for Employee Relationship. Look, HRA is more of a record keeping function of HRA, where the salaries, the personal file of the employee are being made. So we can say that HRA is the tangible part of human resource management which we can observe in our day-to-day lives. Whereas HRD, as I told you, stands for Human Resource Development, where the focus of the organization is to develop the capabilities, that is knowledge, skill and ability of its people, so that they can beautifully perform the present organizational tasks and they develop for the future roles too. And HRD is the intangible part of the organization. Whereas industrial relation and ER ensure peace within the organization. Peace between employees and employees, employee and employer, and employer and employer. We all know the organization which have too much conflict and power game, the majority of the human resource is utilized in minimizing it. So IR and ER function of the organization ensure peace and harmony so that everybody can work effectively in the organization. So to sum up, I'll say that HRA, HRD, and IR and ER are the integral part of human resource management. Now, let's talk about the principles of HRD system. These principles were again given by T.V. Rao and Uday Parikh. Both are the professor of IIM Ahmedabad, and these are the two who pioneered human resource development function in India. So we'll be talking about each and every principle one by one. The first principle says HRD system should help the company to increase enabling capabilities of its people. So what does it mean by enabling capabilities? It means that your people shall be capable enough that they shall identify the problem within the organization, but they shall be empowered enough to solve it. So this is the first principle of HRD system. Second, it should help individual to recognize their potential. As I already told you, we people have been given the immense potential by the Almighty. So how you use it, develop it, and utilize it for the betterment of the organization is also ensured by human resource development. Now, we'll be talking about the third principle, that it should help maximize individual autonomy. Here, autonomy means freedom, freedom of decision making. The beautiful part of human resource development is this, that we delegate the decision making part from top to bottom. So that the people who are working at the lowest level of the organization feel free to take decision in their own capacities, so that delays cannot be done in the decision making process. Now, we are moving on to the fourth principle. It says that HRD should facilitate decentralization through delegation. Now, let's talk about the decentralization. Decentralization is the decision-making part, which is delegated from top to bottom within the organization. So, HRD ensures that all the decision-making part shall not remain in the few hands. It shall be delegated to the people from in every level of the hierarchy. Now we are moving on to the next principle, that it says that HRD should facilitate participative decision making. Here, they both try to say that in decision making, every employee of the organization shall be involved. Now, how it will help you if you will involve every employee of your organization in the decision making process? First, when you listen to your employee and you inculcate their ideas into your decision, they will be having more sense of belonging with the organization. When they have a sense of belonging with you, they feel more committed with you, and when they are committed, you don't face a problem of turnover intention, and it all will also help you to increase your productivity. Now, we are moving on to the sixth principle, which says that HRD should attempt to balance the current organizational culture with the changing culture. Culture plays an important role in the betterment of an organization. Now, what is culture? Culture is sum total of values, beliefs, and practices within an organization. And friends, I tell you, the culture of the organization and of a nation are two different things. In today's time, when we are working with MNC, GNC, so and various generations are working together, so it is essential for the HR manager to provide a cordial culture where people of all caste, color, creed, religion can work together and can minimize the conflict and power game within the organization. So it is the utmost responsibility of the HRD department to provide or to make a balance between the current organizational culture and the changing culture. Now we are moving on to the seventh principle, which says that there should be a balance between differentiation and integration. Dear student, as I told you that HRD is a process, or the HRD mechanism is made up of various subsystems. To name few, it includes organizational development, career planning, potential appraisal, performance appraisal, training and development, and so on and so forth. As the name says, they all are different, but they all have to work in integration to achieve the overall objective of human resource development. So these principles talk about a balance between differentiation and integration between various interventions or the subsystems of HRD system. Now, let's move on to the next principle, that is eighth, which says that there should be a balance between specialization of functions. Dear students, as you must be knowing that HR is the department which performs both line and staff function. If I say line, then there's a hierarchy of the people within the HR department. And if I talk about the staff function is the function of a specialist. So HR has to be specialist in the field, and they have to also perform their day-to-day activities as a human resource department. So you have a dual challenge, and if I say a dual challenge, which means that you have to make a balance between specialization and the function, that is line and staff function of human resource development. I hope it is clear. Now we are moving on to the ninth principle, which says that HRD system should ensure the responsibility for the function. Look, if you have been given a task, with the task you get responsibility also that you have to give your 100%. Similarly, HRD has lots of responsibility of developing people as well as the organization. So they have to ensure that they fulfill this responsibility. Now, next is that HRD should build upon the feedback. Feedback plays a crucial role in the continuous improvement of any system, whether it is you as a person or you're talking about the HRD as a function. But whenever you are giving a feedback or reviewing the performance of somebody, you have to be very constructive. You have to give it in such a way that it shall tell the people the gray areas. It should also motivate them to overcome those gray areas in the time to come. So the HRD is, or the feedback is also the essential part of your human resource development system. Now, we are moving on to the next principle. It says that HRD should maintain a balance between quantification and qualitative decision. A very interesting point. Look, students, the HR is that department where it is very hard for the HR manager to quantify. Quantify means putting everything into numbers. To quantify all the function of HRD and HRM is at time difficult. For example, let's talk about performance appraisal and potential appraisal, where you are evaluating the performance of your employees based on certain standards. The answer will be qualitative rather than quantitative, that you perform very good, or your performance was average, or your performance was below average. So here the focus is that you try to convert your qualitative decision into quantitative results, I'll say. Why? Because whenever you're going for training need assessment, or the promotion of the people, or the increment of the people, these quantitative numbers will help you in decision making. So the 11th principle talks about maintaining a balance between quantification and qualitative decision within the HRD system. Now, the next principle, that is the 12th principle, says that there should be a balance between external and internal input. Now, before explaining this particular principle, I would like to ask you people, who are the people within the organization who are performing the HRD task? It can be the HR employees within the organization, or it can be the expert, the counselors outside your organization. So you have to make a fair balance between internal and external help when you are conducting your human resource development interventions in your organization. So this is your 12th principle. Now 13. 13 says that it should plan the evolution of the function. Look, change is the only constant in this world, and we all know none of the business works in isolation, right? So there are external environmental factors which will be impacting your organization, and similarly, with those changes, you have to inculcate those changes within your organization, right? So you have to continuously evaluate your HRD function, and when you're evaluating it, you have to evolve certain new functions too. So that's why the principle number 13 talks about that it should plan the evolution of the function as it is an ongoing function. Now, we are moving on to the last function, which says that there should be a continuous review and renewal of the function. As I already told you, it's not a one-shot job. You have to be continuously evolving. So you have to continuously review your performance in the HRD system. So here we talked about the 14 principles of HRD system, which were given by Professor T.V. Rao and Uday Parekh. Now, as we talked about the evolution of HRD and its concept, how can we will be talking about that how HRD has evolved. How can we forget here first industrial revolution, where machinery was brought in, man was just treated like a glorified machine. Here, two people who have contributed to the evolution of HRD board, Robert Owen and Charles Babbage. These two were of the point of view that the human is the essential resource of any organization. They try to differentiate man from man, money, machine, material, and method. So the beginning of HRD starts from the first industrial revolution itself. Next contribution in the development of HRD was given by F.W. Taylor, also known as father of scientific management. He has given various principles and elements of management, but there are certain work of F.W. Taylor that can be considered as turning stone in the development of human resource management or development. He talked about scientific selection of the workers. He talked about training of them. He also talked about differential piece rate system. That the workers, every worker shall not get the same wage or salary. So there should be a differentiation of the wages and salary in terms of the capabilities or the output of the people. So we cannot forget the contribution of Frederick Winslow Taylor in the development of human resource development. Next contribution was given during the human relation approach. The Elton Mayo was the man behind it, and he has conducted the very renowned experiment known by the name of Hawthorne experiment, which included four experiments like elimination, relay assembly, mass interviewing program, and bank wire. Here, during the classical management thinkers' time, the classical management thinker include Taylor, Max Weber, and Henry Ford. Their orientation was to increase the efficiency of the workers. But when they contributed, it haven't much affected the efficiency of the organization. So there came Elton Mayo with his experiment, and during those four experiments, he tried to prove that it is not a physical working condition which impact the workers within an organization. It is their interpersonal ties or the social relationship which impact the efficiency of the worker more than the physical working environment. Next, the contribution, the evolution of HRD was done through the content theories of motivation. Now, content theories of motivation are the need-based theory of motivation, which says that it is unsatisfied need of the people which motivates them. So, during this era, the focus was shifted to human, and not only human, but an unsatisfied need. So, it was again a turning stone in the development and evolution of human resource development. And thereafter, the formal training profession was established, and lastly, all this lead to the emergence of human resource development. Fine. Now you must be wondering about the state of HRD in India. So as I already mentioned, the credit of evolution of human resource development India goes to two professors from IIM Ahmedabad, Professor Uday Parekh and Professor G.V. Rao. Actually, in the year somewhere around 1973, they were approached by L&T, the Larsen and Toubro, to review their performance appraisal system. While reviewing the traditional performance appraisal system, they both recommended that traditional performance appraisal system won't be sufficient to meet the challenging demands of the present environment. So they suggested that you have to inculcate various interventions in your traditional performance appraisal system. And he said that its objective cannot be accomplished without adding subsystems like employee counseling, potential appraisal, career planning, training and development, and organizational development. In the end, we'll be talking about each and every intervention under the HRD mechanism. So, I'll say that the HRD system in India was formally introduced by Larsen and Toubro in the year 1975. And of course, the credit goes to both the professors from IIM Ahmedabad, Uday Parekh and Professor T.V. Rao. Fine. Now, let's talk about HRD mechanism. HRD mechanism, as I told you, is the intervention or the subsystems. So, We'll be talking about each and every subsystem one by one. So first and foremost is HRD department. Actually, in various organizations, HR functions performed by either performance department or human resource management department. There is no such unique department with the name of HRD. But keeping in mind the challenges posed by the external environment and the VUCA world, I think it is the right time that every organization shall have a separate department which we call as Human Resource Development Department. It shall have its own roles and responsibilities and accountability too. That's why in HRD first subsystem is HRD department. Next is performance appraisal. Performance appraisal is a process where the performance of an employee is reviewed over a period of time. It is reviewed on the basis of certain standards. Standards come from job analysis, right? And outcome, you have standards from the job analysis and you compare the actual performance of your people within the organization. Now, there can be three outcomes of this process. Either the performance is above the standard, or it is at par, or it is below the standards. So, the next step, which takes the input from the second mechanism, is review, discussion, and feedback counseling session. So, if the performance of your employee is at par or below, so you have to provide the feedback to the employee. And when you're providing the feedback, you have to be extra cautious because the objective of feedback is not to find the fault of the people, but your objective is to help them in becoming better. Fine, so I believe both are clear. In performance appraisal, we are evaluating the performance of the employee on the basis of certain set standards, and from where these standards are coming, they are coming from the job analysis. And through feedback and counseling session, we are letting them know that how they are performing. And if in case the performance is above, you have to motivate them, you have to reward them. If the performance is at par or below the standard, then you have to provide them a constructive feedback. Hope this point is clear. Now we are moving on to the fourth point, that is role analysis exercise. So whenever you people will be given employment, you will be performing some job, another job, you have to perform certain roles. So role analysis, as the name suggests, is a process by which you are analyzing each and every job within the organization. So what are the tasks you want your people to perform? That letting those people know what they have to perform, and then ensuring that are they performing the role as expected by you? If no, again comes the role of feedback and counseling. So role analysis is nothing, is analyzing each and every role within the organization. Now, the next mechanism is potential appraisal. Guys, I believe it is clear to you what performance appraisal is. Here, you are evaluating the past performance of the people. But it may so happen that your employees are really potential employees, but because of lack of motivation or lack of training, the performance was not as per the standard. So the potential appraiser says, don't blindly follow the results of performance appraisal, but also see at the potential of your people. So if they haven't performed very good in the past, but they have potential, so as an organization, as an HRD department, your role is to find that why the performance was not up to the mark. And once you are able to identify that, yeah, you have to work on that. So we suggest don't go for performance appraisal only, combine it with potential appraisal. That in future, are your people capable enough to meet the challenging task? So it is done by potential appraisal. Next comes training. I believe training is one of the essential part of your human resource development. Training ensures enhancing the knowledge, skill, and capability of your people. It is a process. Start with the need assessment and then implementing the need into the process and then imparting the training. Training is a short run. It helps you in enhancing your technical know. Next intervention or the mechanism is communication policies. Communication is a two-way traffic. So, and communication is very essential in every organization. In the HRD, we ensure two-way communication and open communication. There shall be no hindrance in top to bottom communication as well as in bottom to top communication. If your communication is good, you can minimize conflict within the organization and organization can actually be protected. Next, the eighth intervention is about job rotation. Job rotation is the lateral movement of the people within an organization from one job to other. It serves two purposes. Your people become multi-skilled and it also breaks the monotony or the boredom of doing a repetitive job. So it is one of the crucial stage of job designing and it is again a part of HRD mechanism. Next up, organizational development exercises. Now, first let's talk about what is organizational development. Organizational development is the process of inculcating planned change within the organization. That how you unfreeze the existing system, you inculcate the change, and you refreeze the system. All this is ensured by organizational development. Then comes the rewards. We all know that rewards play a crucial role in motivating your employees within the organization. Your students, rewards can be both external and they can be internal. Internal rewards, you have to motivate yourself that you are going good, you're doing better. Moreover, the organization in HRD focuses on external rewards. It can be again monetary. The external rewards can be again monetary or non-monetary. Uh, Shake hand or a letter of appreciation from your head or from your organization can be the example of non-monetary external reward, whereas pay hike or increments or the team incentive can be the best example of your external but monetary rewards. So rewards has a role in HRD mechanism. Now let's talk about job enrichment program. Job enrichment, as the name suggests, you are adding the challenging role to the existing role being performed by an employee in your organization. Now, how will it motivate the people? It will provide them changing jobs, and once you are able to achieve your targets, you feel gratified. Not only this, it also provides you autonomy in decision making. Or in other words, I'll say job enrichment is the vertical upward movement of the task, duties, and responsibilities of an employee in an organization. Next, let's talk about 360-degree feedback. As you told, feedback plays an important role in letting you know how you're performing, Here, 360-degree feedback means you're getting a feedback from everybody whom you interact in your work life. If I say everybody, it can be from your seniors, it can be from your peers who are working with you at the same level, your colleagues, and it can also be from juniors. Apart from this, in your day-to-day work life, you meet several other people. Now the feedback will be taken from them. The advantage of it is this, that it minimizes the biasness in the feedback process. Next is assessment and development centers. Assessment centers are very old. They help you in the training and development need assessment. That who actually requires training, right? If you need training, then in which area of your training shall be given? What will be the objective of those training and development programs? Who will be imparting the training? And after the training, are we able to get the desired result? So all the functions are performed by the assessment and development center. Now, the employee engagement, again, one of the crucial aspects of human resource development, which says that it ensures that how much engaged and dedicated your people are. As you all know, more your people are engaged with you, more productive they will. Last element or the subsystem of HRD mechanism is competency mapping. So competency is nothing, it is your knowledge, skill and ability of your people. And competency mapping is a strategic way of aligning those knowledge, skill and ability of your people with the goals of the organization. So these are the 15, I'll say, subsystem of the HRD mechanism. They all work hand in hand in developing the people of the organization for the present as well as potential role in the organization. Fine. Now let's talk about the human resource development process. The process is divided into 4 parts. First is human resource development need assessment, the design, the training, and the evaluation. So we'll be talking about each and every step one by one. Number 1 says human resource development need assessment. Here, you have to identify the gap in what you're doing right now as an organization and what you want to achieve in the times to come. These need assessment can be done in the 3 units of your organization. It can be the organization, the job, and the people. If I say organization, you have to identify that how you are performing, what are your missions and visions are, and what will you be performing in the future. From here you get the answer that where or how you want to grow in the times to come. Once you know how and where you want to reach in the times to come as an organization, you're also clear what jobs and the roles your organization has to perform. So job analysis tell you what are going to be the future roles for achieving the future objective of the organization. And for this, you have to ensure that are your people capable enough to perform those tasks. So this is what is included in the HRD need assessment. So I conclude, you do assessment the 3 level, the organizational level, the job level, and at the level of the people. Next comes the design. And so clear with the gap, what you want to achieve in the time to come. You have to design or you have to be clear with the objective of those programs. Who will be performing those tasks? You have to prepare a lesson plan for the same. So all this comes under the designing phase of human resource development process. Now comes the important part. The first two part were the planning part. Now the third part we will be talking about the implementation. In this step, you have to put your plan into the action. When you clear which kind of training you have to provide, so in the implementation phase, you have to make a balance between are you going for the on the job training or the off the job training program. Who is going to be trained? So all this is done during the third phase. We call it as training or implementation phase. Last but again, the most important part of the HRD process is evaluation. That how we have performed. Are we able to achieve the objectives which we people have set for this human resource development process? Have this training or development process bring in some change in the knowledge of my people? Is that change in the knowledge of people have bring in the change in terms of increased productivity of my organization? So these are the four steps process of human resource development. The first is HRD need assessment, then design, then training, and then evaluation. Next, let's talk about the HRD matrix. It is very simple. So it is including everything which we have talked about earlier. First, the matrix include HRD mechanism, or as I told you, the subsystem or the instruments. I think we have covered all this. It includes HR department, performance appraisal, review, discussion and feedback, counseling session, the role analysis exercise, training, communication policies, job rotation, organizational development exercise, rewards, job enrichment program, and other mechanisms. The HRD mechanism will help you to improve the HRD process and which will ultimately enhance your HRD climb. It will lead to more role clarity. You as a leader knows what you want to get it done from your people, and your people also knows what role they have to perform in the organization. So it will minimize the confusion and conflict within the organization. Then planning of development of every employee. Look, the objective of HRD is to enhance the potential of each and every employee within the organization. Next, awareness of competencies required for the job performance. As we talked in the first stage of the HRD process, that you have to understand what role you're performing right now as an organization and what are going to be the future role. So this is to be done in the HRD process. Proactive orientation. Look, if you have to survive in today's complex time, you cannot be reactive. You have to foresee the future, and for which you have to be proactive. Trust. Trust is very important. It is acquired over a period of time. And if you trust your people and you trust your organization, people trust your organization, then your other dysfunctional aspect of the organization can be automatically minimized. Collaboration. Together we are strength. This is one of the prime motive of human resource development. Next up, authenticity. Authenticity means that whatever course of action you are taking within an organization, they have to be legal, they have to be legitimate. HRD also ensure the culture of openness where everybody feels free to put their point forward. There's no hesitation at any level of hierarchy within the organization. Next is risk-taking capability. One of the I'll say best element of the HRD system is experimentation. The people shall be encouraged to take risk to do experiment, because without experimentation, creativity never improves. Next is value generation. Whatever you do in an organization as an employee, that should be of some value. Next is clarification of norms and standard. Look, I suggest that everything has to be in black and white. You should have written policies and a norm so that it minimizes the doubt in the mind of the employee. Next element in the climate is increased communication. More you communicate, more you minimize the communication gap, and this enhances the productivity within the organization. You have to focus on the rewards also. And last is generation of objective and data for the employees. Today we are living in a data-driven economy. Data provides an essential, I'll say, input in the process of decision making. And in the HRD, our focus is on collecting the data about the employee. It says the data about their skill, knowledge, and ability. HRD mechanism along with HRD process which yield you certain positive outcomes, and these outcomes are the people will be more competent, better developed, they'll be more committed, they'll be having better problem identification and problem solving capabilities. Once they're committed, they're confident, they do less error in their work, they'll be more satisfied and more motivated with their work. All this will lead to better organizational health. You will work as a team. It will lead to synergy. Synergy means together we achieve more. And when all these positive outcomes are being yielded, you will develop a sense of respect for each other. So, HRD mechanism along with HR process, along with the positive outcome will lead to organizational effectiveness. So, HRD will help your organization to be better productive. When you're productive, you grow. You grow in terms of number, volume, and profitability. Once you are profitable, you diversify. Diversification can be into related or unrelated field. All this can be achieved when you reduce the cost. Here, cost reduction means in lesser input, you produce more output, and which will bring in profit. And not only this, it will also improve the image of your organization. So, HRE is a win-win situation for your organization. While looking into the HR matrix, there are certain external and internal environmental factors which you have to keep in mind. The other factors, the external factors can be the environmental, technology, resource available, history and nature of the business. And I will repeat, none of the organization works in isolation. You have to always keep an eye on the external environmental factors. If there's a change in any of these factors, you have to bring in change in your internal organizational factor, the internal factor, which are concluded in the other factors like personal policies, top level management style, investment on HRD, commitment, history, previous culture, line managers' interest, etc. etc. We'll be covering these factors in detail in the next slide. Fine. Now, what is the role of top level management in inculcating the HRD practices in your organization? First is the vision, which is where you see organization after certain periods of time, the mission, who you are, what purpose you are serving, and the goals. Shall focus on human resource development, and all these shall be in sync. Your objective under HRD shall be making your people better. Now, second point, defining and designing HR policies clearly and updating them on a regular basis. So, the HR policies shall be in sync with your vision, mission, and goals. And the HR policies are what? Let's first talk about it. Agile policies are nothing. These are the guidelines which are being formulated by top level people within your organization. So I'll suggest to have them in writing so that you leave minimum rule for confusion. And as I told you previously that the external environment will keep on changing. So looking into that change, you have to regularly bring in a change in your HR policies. Then the third point we'll be talking about organizational commitment to the HR. Look, as I told you in the starting of the lecture, that the output of HRD or the HR department are at times intangible. It is hard to quantify them. So the lots of dedication from the top level management is required in inculcating the HRD practices in an organization. Next, leadership development. Leader plays a crucial role in the organization. It is the leader who is sitting on your driving seat and you have given the steering of your car to your leader. So, HRD ensures that your leader shall have bestest of knowledge, skill and ability, and they should also have a capability of foreseeing the future so that they can navigate your organization appropriately. Next, empowerment. When you talk about HRD, you have to always talk about empowering your people. You trust them, you give them freedom of taking decision in their capabilities. Next, return on investment of human resource development. As I'm again and again repeating, as a human resource department, you are a different department altogether because you are dealing with the people within the organization, right? When it comes to people, there cannot be a direct cost benefit analysis because when you are dealing with human is very complex. Why it is complex? Because your total behavior can be overt and covert at times. One can be expressed, another one is hard to express. So, again I'll repeat this, that as HRD practitioners, you try to convert your human resource development output as quantitative output rather than qualitative output, because you have to prove to the top level management that the profits are more than the cost you have inculcated on these interventions. So as a department, you cannot run away from your responsibilities. You have to provide a good return on the investment which your management is doing in developing the team. Stakeholders value. If your organization is productive, right, it is yielding profit and you are growing in various dimensions, right? So this is how you can ensure the wealth maximization of your share. Next is OCTA-based. OCTA-based stands for the culture within the HR system. Here O stands for openness, C for collaboration, T for trust, A for autonomy, P for proactive, again A for authenticity, C for confrontation, and E for experimentation. Now we're talking about each and every element one by one. Openness. Here openness means freedom of expression. The communication in the HRD, the organization which practice HRD, the communication shall have a free flow. When I say free flow, there shall be no flow from top to bottom and bottom to top, but people shall feel free to put their point forward. That collaboration. HRD believes in synergy among the people. Together we are a strength. Fine, our team output will be more than the individual output. So we have to work as a team. T stands for trust. Trust comes with time, and trust, once it is breached, it is hard to rebuild. So, in an HRD system, as an employer, you have to trust your people, and your people have to trust upon you. Then only you can reach to any heights in the time to come. Next comes the autonomy, the freedom. In the HRE, our focus is developing the people to their fullest potential. So here we ensure that every employee of the organization is capable of taking decisions in their capacity. So autonomy ensures the freedom of decision making among your people. How it helps? It helps you in prompt decision making in today's competitive and proactive. You have to have a capability of forcing the future. You cannot react when the change has happened. You shall have pre-planned for it. So if you have to survive in today's environment, in the VUCA world, you have to be proactive as an organization rather than being reactive. Then authenticity. Authenticity means whatever action you are taking in an organization to achieve the goals of the organization, they have to be legal. Never ever use some unauthentic or illegal means of achieving goals within an organization. Next, we talked about confrontation. HRE has made your people competent enough that if they face some problem within an organization, first he shall be capable of diagnosing the problem, and not only diagnosing the problem but also providing the solution. So confrontation says whenever as an employee you're facing any challenge, any problem within the organization, all the time you need not to rush to the top level management. You shall solve it on your own within your capabilities. Last, experimentation. Provide the culture, provide the environment where every individual of the organization shall think out of the box. Because if you keep beating around the bushes, you're not going to do anything new. Experimentation leads to the innovation, and innovation is the key of survival in today's time. Right? Last, second last, sorry. We're moving on to the ninth point, which says that HRD not only ensures productivity, but it also ensures work-life balance. Although today we talk about work-life integration, look, you cannot divide the work life and the personal life of the employee. Employee come to your organization in totality. If something is going back in their mind, that will impact your organization. So you have to be extra cautious, ensuring a better work-life balance among your employees. Last, HRE ensures to create a care and compassionate quotient in the organization. So it's not only about the productivity, the competency, but it also nurturing your people and providing the compassion for their work within the organization. So in the end, if I have to sum up the HRD, I'll say that HRD ensures 3C within the organization. The first C is competency, second C is the culture, and third C is commitment. The competency, as I told you, these are the demonstrables, knowledge, skill, ability, attitude, and which will yield you a positive behavior of your employer within the organization. All this can be ensured with the culture of openness, collaboration, Motivation, trust, autonomy, proactiveness, authenticity, collaboration, and experimentation. And all, if your people are developed, they have trust in you, that they will be committed to you. So this is it from my end. Namaste. Happy learning. See you in the next class. That is the